Hello, I'm Susan Acott, I'm the Chief Executive at East Kent, and I'm standing in Cheerful Sparrows ward at the QEQM in Margate, which has just been turned into an ITU, and I'm with three colleagues here who I'm going to ask to introduce themselves. Matt, will you start?
Yeah, hi, I'm Matt Jones. I'm a consultant anaesthetist, and I'm sort of a project lead for developing a new ITU space in response to the COVID crisis.
I'm Deirdre McFarlane, I'm the critical care matron.
And I'm Mark Snazel, I'm the lead clinician for critical care for East Kent.
Right, so I wanted to start by just letting you tell me something around the last 8 weeks have been immense, and from a clinical point of view, what problems did you face as you were preparing to face COVID?
So I think clinically there's been a lot of challenges from the number of patients presenting to us with COVID through to their specific requirements. So these patients are the ones that come to intensive care are presenting quite sick and requiring a lot of organ support, and not just for a short period of time either. So we're seeing patients requiring intensive care support for 2, 3, even 4 weeks, and what that means is that unlike in normal situations where patients can be admitted and discharged to intensive care quite quickly, we're seeing patients staying for long periods of time, which means that we were admitting patients quicker than we could discharge them. So therefore the numbers of patients in the critical care units on all 3 sites actually grew very quickly, and so we found that we were having to expand out of the confines of our normal critical care space and into areas such as operating theatres, recovery spaces, which of course are not designed as critical care units.
So we've got to the stage where we're actually now having to think about how we restart some of our urgent planned work, and for that we need recovery. So in terms of the problem to solve, it's how do you maintain your ability to have a larger ITU footprint but allow some recovery space back for theatres? So why did you set upon this particular solution?
So maybe I can answer. So yeah, obviously, as Marcus suggested initially, it was important for us to rapidly expand our critical care capacity at pace in response to the immediate demand. But as has been suggested, this isn't ideal moving into theatres and recovery. It's not a bespoke intensive care environment, and it has been quite challenging to work in there for the staff. And they've done a fantastic job working in what is quite a difficult environment. But with time and with the weeks passing, we realised that the important strategy would be to develop slightly more robust additional ITU capacity in areas that are a bit more sustainable and a bit more appropriate for long-term care of critical care patients. And secondly, also looking at the longer term, realising that we will need to get back some of our theatre and recovery capacity as time goes on. So that's why we are certainly on this site at the QEQM hospital, we made the decision to do what we did here on the Cheerful Sparrows unit.
And Deirdre, this must be, in your long nursing career, the last couple of months must have presented some of the most serious challenges you've ever faced.
It really has. The first 2 weeks, I really didn't know what hit me or my staff. We were working in environments that we'd escalated to for short periods of time, but we were then across 3 areas of working, and our vacancy factor before all this hit, there was a vacancy factor, so we were struggling with staffing as well. So that presented with getting in buddies, what we call buddies, which has had a huge response. But the impact of that was then training them, because these people were so good. They volunteered to come into an intensive care unit that they'd never been into, so an environment that is scary to most people. We had to educate them, upskill them in environments that we weren't even used to. So, but a job that has been so well done.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like every day has been a problem to solve, or some challenge to face just constantly for the last few months.
Yeah, there really has. With moving equipment from area to area, depending on patient need, having enough equipment for the acuity of the patient. Where we're a 9-bedded unit, we were then asked to quadruple, if not more, in bed stock. So that was a real concern every day. But the communication side of it was I think the most ultimate thing every day, every morning, that we really needed to take stock of what was actually going on across all 3 sites.
I mean, I have to say, Matt, in terms of we've just opened this unit officially, and you've just been thanking a lot of the engineers. The sense of teamwork has been profound, and people just solving problems really quickly.
Oh, it's been a unique project. I mean, from the very get-go, really, from literally the first day when we realised we were going to have this problem, not just in terms of the acute and immediate critical care setups, but here, and getting contractors on site, some of whom have been working for 21 days straight through the weekends, been working 12-hour days to meet really, really tight deadlines. And as you say, it's required a huge amount of cooperation and understanding, because we didn't know what we were doing. No one's faced a situation before. Normally a project would have a project management team, and it would be planned out in advance, it would be costed out, and there would be a whole schedule of works and so on. On this project, it was right, let's get going, and we'll just get it done. And it's been a unique project, and amazing seeing everyone pulling together, working together. That's the key thing. And even at times, when we've got something wrong and we've had to redo it, which is inevitable when you're making a plan up as you go along. There've been no complaints, and the teams have been fantastic, putting something in and then taking it out and putting it in again somewhere else, without complaint, and with working through the weekend to do that has been amazing. Really pulling together.
There's obviously been some tragedies along the way, and it's been a sad and difficult time for people, but this sense of people having a real sense of purpose, and just willingness to work some of the problems through. I mean, Mark, from your point of view, the logistics, I think, are mind-numbing in some of this that you've had to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been having to deal with a lot of unknowns in terms of how many patients would be coming and how quickly, and how we would deal with that across all 3 critical care units in the trust. And so actually trying to plan out not only our clinical response to the patients themselves, but also logistically how we would manage our staff, our teams, and how we would bring everyone together to do the best for the patients. Has been very, very difficult and been challenging. However, I would echo what Matt said around the teamwork, because I think one of the things, if not the thing, I'll take away from this whole experience has been the amazing degree of team working across the whole sphere. So not just the amazing estates teams and builders who've worked on this project, but the clinical teams who have been unbelievably cooperative and helpful. So, for example, we've had orthopaedic surgeons coming to do ward rounds on the intensive care and chasing up bloods. We've had general surgeons doing the same. The anaesthetic team department have been absolutely amazing in what they've done to help prepare not only our environments but our protocols and guidelines for managing this disease. So it's not just been critical care, it's been critical care has expanded to become a huge family, and I think I'm extremely proud of that.
A huge family in terms of the growing sort of critical care band that have helped and supported. And you talked about your sort of territorial army that you've managed to engage. So it sounds like it's been, I don't know, the most challenging of times, the best of times, the worst of times. You must be very proud of your staff, though.
Oh, absolutely. 39 years I've been nursing, and the camaraderie has been immense, right from, the PSAs to, like you say, the builders. Everyone has been an absolute delight to work with. And yet the stress factors, the anxiety, it's been huge. And yet they've managed still to come back. And even after themselves being positive to COVID, they've actually had the strength to come back and carry on.
Yeah, I have to say, I think from the organisation's point of view, but also you just hear it in the streets every night at 8 o'clock on Thursday, don't you?
Yes.
I don't think we've ever been so acknowledged, and you haven't been
absolutely
so acknowledged and supported, and had people really, really appreciate what you do. So I can see it's difficult, but at the same time, you must be very just phenomenally proud of everything that you've done.
Absolutely.
Really.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right, well, thank you very much to the three of you for your time, and thanks for everything that you've done.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.